Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney. This is the Brittney Reacts Show, and on this show we go over all things movie news. Today we have a lot to go over, so we're going to go over things that happened last week, but also this week. We're going to talk about Dune's box office and how it's doing. We're going to talk about how Netflix just greenlit Season 2 and Season 3 of Avatar, so it seems pretty confident in it. We have a lot of varied things to talk about, some interesting things, some WTF things. Yes, we do have 2 WTF news to talk about, so we have a lot to discuss. But how are you guys doing? Hi Prototype, hi Miss Olsen, hi CD Woods, hi Josh, hi Bao, hi Rachel, hi Ajamin, hi Pretty Princess, hi Nate, hi Rachel, hi Blue Gecko Nerd, hi Madonna, hi Gabriel, hi Whimsin. Thank you to each and every one of you who comes to my show every day. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. You guys are awesome. So, now that it has been quite some time, who has seen Dune? Did anyone see Dune after they saw my review? Are you guys on the Dune train finally? Because I know I've been talking about Dune forever, but you guys were like, no, I didn't like the first one. The first one's not that great. So are you guys on the Dune train now after you've seen the second one? Please tell me yes. I want to know your thoughts. Yes, we're getting 2 WTF news. They're smaller news, that's why we're getting 2, but yes, we do have WTF news tonight. Yes, I am back with the streams every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so this is the set time every week. I do want to let you guys know, just FYI, my ceiling is falling in. There's cracks in my ceiling, and I have construction workers coming over this weekend to fix up my apartment. So, I'm hoping we can get to our stream on Sunday, but if not Sunday, it might have to be Monday. Mainly because I'm going to have people in here and it's going to be really loud and they're probably going to have construction tools and stuff like that. But I hope not to have to move the schedule around too much, but Sunday I might have construction people over because, again, my roof is literally caving in right now. It's kind of unsafe. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a fair heads up because on Sunday, or possibly Monday, I am going to be reviewing the new Kung Fu Panda movie. So I'm seeing the new Kung Fu Panda movie, just FYI. So if you guys want to hear my thoughts on that, that's going to be this weekend's review. Anyway, did you guys see Dune yet? Are you on the Dune train? Black Star still hasn't seen Dune 2. Josh Loved Movies says, I worked opening weekend of Dune Part 2 and all IMAX showings showed up. It was chaos. Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about this in a minute, but it seems like if you saw Dune this week, you pretty much saw it in a premium screen. So I think that's the future of movie going. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Mikey says, have you heard that Kung Fu Panda is actually going to take the #1 spot ahead of Dune? Yes! I think Kung Fu Panda is actually probably going to do pretty well because we haven't had one in a while. And I think there's a bit of a nostalgia factor for those who were kids back then. So I think the Kung Fu Panda movie is probably going to do pretty well. Oh my god, Shelly Lee. You're so funny. You can be horny, that's fine. Scorpio Shadow says, I haven't seen Dune yet, but I hope I will. Come on, guys. I need more of you guys getting on the Dune hype train. I need you guys. I want to get Dune 3. I mean, I think we're still going to get Dune 3. We're going to talk about the box office in a second, but yeah, it's looking good so far. Even though there's still a lot of people that are hesitant, it is looking good. So, I feel like that should be our... Oh, we have a super chat. Thank you so much. What is that? Madonna's plastic surgery? Is that what it is? Oh my gosh, these names are so funny. I'm seeing Kung Fu Panda 4 on Saturday for $17. No wonder movies are struggling. Yeah, and not only are movies expensive, but AMC and Regal keep trying these peak price thingy. Oh my god, they want to upcharge people during certain peak times, or if they go to certain seats, and I feel like that's only making movie going more expensive at a time where we need to encourage people to go more, and people are really struggling right now financially. So I think it's a mistake to keep trying to make movie going more and more expensive. I think you're only going to discourage people from going. So yeah, that's a great point, Madonna. Yeah, movie going is not as cheap as it used to be. But let's get into the movies, into the box office news. So, oh my god, Dune 2 is doing really well. In fact, it's being compared to Oppenheimer, that's why I said it, because it opened with about the same as Oppenheimer, with $82.5 million domestically. And of course, Oppenheimer went on to do $950 million worldwide. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, does that mean Dune 2 will make as much as Oppenheimer? And I don't know if it will. I mean, I definitely think it'll have legs because people seem to be really liking this movie. But I don't know if it's going to have legs to the degree that it's going to catch up to Oppenheimer and make almost $1 billion. I would love that as Dune's biggest fan and Dune's biggest defender, but I just can't see it happening, unfortunately. What I see Dune doing is like around 700 million. Like, I feel like it's going to end up in that range once it's legged out quite a bit, because I do think it's going to leg out because people like it. But I just don't see it doing Oppenheimer numbers. It doesn't have the Barbenheimer effect. It's not Christopher Nolan. Denis Villeneuve just doesn't have the same commercial appeal as Christopher Nolan, and there's still a lot of people who are just like apprehensive about Dune in general just because they didn't like the first movie. But I do like that Dune is being compared to Oppenheimer. That's nice for it. So I just don't think it's going to catch Oppenheimer's success, though. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this movie will come close to Oppenheimer, or do you think, like me, that it probably won't even come close, although it'll still be successful? Dune Barbenheimer is a thing now. I mean, imagine if Dune had came out on that day, too. That would have been absolute chaos. Scorpio Shadow says, agree, this is why I'm careful of which movies I want to watch and see. Oh, because of the price? Oh yeah, it's super expensive, especially if you want to take a whole family. Like, if you're just going with by yourself, or you're going with a date or someone, maybe that's fine. But if you're taking like 3 kids and a significant other, you gotta find parking, you want to pay for popcorn and snacks and all that. Movie going is getting really expensive these days. HP, thank you so much for the super chat. I found Dune 1 boring, but I saw Dune 2, and it was way better than 1, and just great overall. I'm glad I didn't let my view of 1 stop me from seeing 2. That's why I keep telling you guys, and thank you for the super chat. If you didn't see the first Dune, or if you did see the first Dune and you didn't like it, just so go see Dune 2. You don't really need to even see the first one to appreciate the second. And the second one is so much better than the first. I liked the first one, but even I recognize Dune 2 as a step up. So if you guys just give Dune 2 a chance. If you want like big epic cinema with great production value, Dune 2 is right there. So thank you for the super chat. I'm seeing in the chat a lot of you guys mentioned that 700 million seems about right. Yeah, I'm feeling 700 million for this movie, which would still be a success. It's not an Oppenheimer level success, but I still see that as successful. But it does have a lot of competition because it does have Kung Fu Panda coming out next week, and we'll see how that one does. But like I said, I actually think Kung Fu Panda could be quite successful. But how successful is it? I mean, it is doing pretty well. It's breaking a lot of, records and all of that. Over 20% of the domestic opening weekend for Dune 2 was actually from IMAX sales. Premium screens alone overall was almost 50% of the box office. So going back to what Josh was saying about how you were working at the theater and most of the screens for IMAX were sold out, I mean, it seems like that's how it was for most theaters. It seems like if you went to go see Dune, people made sure to go see it in a premium theater, which I think makes a lot of sense. I feel like the future of moviegoing is in a premium setting and a premium moviegoing experience. I feel like as moviegoing becomes rarer for people, as movies just don't have the same cachet as they used to, moviegoing might become like something really nice that you go to on rare occasion only for big event movies, kind of like going to a concert or going to a Broadway show. I feel like that's slowly where moviegoing is going towards, and while I think that's really sad for Hollywood, I do think that means we could get some really compelling theatrical experiences, because I think in order for a movie to really succeed these days, it needs to be a film that is built for the big screen. And Dune 2 is definitely built for the big screen in the way that it's epic in scale, even from like the visuals and how the visuals seem like they were made for the IMAX screen. I really feel like the future of movie going is all about like big event movies like this that demand to be seen on an IMAX screen. But what do you guys think? Do you think that's the future of movie going? Do you see it becoming like going to a concert or a Broadway show? Primal Plasma says maybe it is better not to see part 1. I still think you should see part 1 just for some context. I feel like some of the visions that come true in the second one you appreciate more if you saw them first in the first movie. So I still like the first movie. I think you should watch it, but you don't have to watch it is what I'm saying. It's doing well for pre-sales in China. Well, that's good to hear. If it does well worldwide, that helps us with getting our chances for another Dune. And I really want Dune to become a major, massive franchise. I think it deserves it. Alexander Padilla, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey Brittney, with Dune 2 and Challengers coming next month, I want to see Zendaya in more leading roles. She's ready and I want to see her shine. That's very true. We haven't really seen Zendaya in a lot of leading roles on her own. She's been in a lot of big movies, but they've always been like smaller roles, or she's been supporting, kind of like how she is in this one and in the Spider-Man movies. She's the lead in Euphoria, but that's a TV show. You know, Challengers will be her first real movie. It'll be her first real test to see just how good, how much of a draw is she really outside of a major franchise. You know what's interesting is that Sydney Sweeney was just in a major hit that's not part of a franchise with Anyone But You. I think that's the name of it. It's a rom-com with Glenn Powell, and it did really well. It made like $200 million, which is a lot for rom-coms these days because usually they don't do well. And I'm really wondering if Challengers can even match the Anyone But You movie, because I feel like Sydney Sweeney and Zendaya, you know, they both come from Euphoria, but Zendaya is seen as the one that's bigger than Sydney Sweeney, and she gets paid more than Sydney Sweeney. And I think that's, you know, rightfully so. But I will be curious to see if she can prove that she's as much of a draw as Sydney Sweeney is, because Sydney Sweeney, I mean, regardless of how you may feel about her, she got a rom-com in 2023 to make over $200 million. Will Zendaya be able to get Challengers over $200 million? I don't know. But I think this will be our first real test to see, does Zendaya have the it factor for real? Does she actually have pull, or is she more just like a social media star? Because I did a video a while ago where I talked about how we don't really have a lot of movie stars now, and a lot of the people that we call movie stars are really more like social media stars. So I feel like Zendaya could just be a social media star and maybe not a movie star, but I think Challengers will definitely tell us that. What do you guys think? Do you plan on seeing Challengers? Josh says Sydney threw Madam Web under the bus quicker than Dakota Johnson. Oh, we're about to talk about Madam Web, Josh. We're about to talk about that. Potato Girl says she didn't get to do very much, I felt like, but I'm looking forward to Dune 3 and her relationship with Paul. You know what, Potato Girl, I definitely agree with that. I do feel like she was kind of just Paul's girlfriend. Even though I really like Zendaya's performance, I was expecting her character to have more to do in this role. I definitely agree with you there. Taylor Allen says, please watch the first movie, even if you already have. I disagree. It's important to be up to date with the world going into Dune 2. I definitely think that it gives you an introduction and background on the lore that you might be missing if you don't watch it ahead of Dune 2. I do agree that it's important to watch, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Oh, Natanya just pulled the video. Thank you so much. If you go to the chat, Natanya actually just pulled up my video where I talked about social movie stars versus actual movie stars. And in that video, I talked about how I thought Zendaya was a social movie star. So I'm curious to see if Challengers can actually change my mind. Hi, Asteri. But anyway, moving on to the next thing. So Dune actually is the first movie in 2024 to pass 100 million domestically, which I think isn't so much saying like how much Dune is succeeding, but I think it's saying a lot about how a lot of other movies are failing. If we're in March and this is the first movie to pass 100 million domestically, I think this is pretty bad for the overall health of the box office, because that is not good. But I mean, think of the movies we've gotten so far this year, like Madam Web. Like, we haven't really had a lot of big movies this year, so again, I think that's saying a lot, not just about how well Dune is doing, but how poorly everything else is doing, because that's quite bad in my opinion. But anyway, so Dune did open to 178.5 million worldwide, which is 50% more than the worldwide opening of the first film. And keep in mind, the first film did open day and date on HBO Max and during the pandemic, so it had a lot going against it. I always knew that Dune 2 would blow up over Dune 1 because it didn't have those constraints on it this time, so I'm happy that I was right. I was a little bit, maybe too gun shy a few months ago, and I was like, oh yeah, Dune 2 is going to make $1 billion. Definitely don't think that anymore, but I'm just happy that it's doing well, especially more than the first one. This should be doing well enough to get that Dune 3 for sure, especially since this one got an A cinema score. So people who did see the movie ended up liking it, which is why I think it's probably going to leg out pretty well and probably do well for like the next couple of weeks, not just, not just did really well one week and then drop off. I think it's probably going to continue doing well week to week. So that's really good. I'm really happy about that. Again, go see Dune. It's really good. Legendary CEO Josh Groh did say the studio is actively engaged in Dune 3, so it definitely seems like it's happening. I think they were probably planning on doing it even before they knew the box office, but I think the box office is encouraging enough that they're definitely going to do it. Anyone looking forward to Dune 3? I honestly don't know when they're going to do it, especially because Dune 3 has quite a bit of a time jump from what I understand. I mean, if you've seen Dune 2, you understand it has to have a time jump. So how are they going to age up all of the actors? Are they going to age up all the actors? I don't really understand how they're going to do the next one. I think they have a lot of challenges from the book to overcome. But Denis Villeneuve has already overcome a lot of challenges previously that he had to adapt from these books. So if I trust anyone to do Dune 3 right, it's Denis Villeneuve. So I don't have a lot of qualms or worries. I'm just more like, how in the world are they going to do a time jump that's quite significant, but have the same actors? What do you guys think they're gonna do? Seems like most of you guys are excited for Dune 3, yeah. Alexander Padilla says, while I like most of Timothée Chalamet's movies, he has no range. Interesting. He acts the same while Zendaya shows tremendous range as an actress. I actually agree. I think Zendaya has a lot of range, but I disagree that Timothée Chalamet doesn't have a lot of range. He is very different in this movie compared to Wonka, and he's very different in Wonka compared to Call Me By Your Name. I think he's been very good in a lot of different things. I think he's a good actor. I don't think he was at his best in Wonka, in my personal opinion, but I do think he shows quite a bit of range. Okay, Prototype says they'll probably get new actors to play the aged characters. But if they get new actors, they're going to have to get rid of Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet and Florence Pugh and Austin Butler and all of these big name people who I feel like, well, not Austin Butler, but the others. I feel like they're going to have to get rid of a lot of big name actors that they probably won't want to. So that's why I'm like, how are they going to do this? Are they going to give, I don't know, Timothée Chalamet a beard to make him look older? Are they going to give them old age makeup? Very, very curious. Alexander says probably the film is going to come out in 2026 to 2027. That's what I'm probably thinking. Ellie says the Dune 3 storyline will be very interesting. Everything I've heard about it sounds super weird, even weirder than the previous movies. So I'm all here for it, but I'm very curious to see if it will be commercial, because I don't think this movie will be as commercial as the previous two. But we'll see. Anyway, moving on to Madam Web, because Madam Web is not doing well. Madam Web made just $3.2 million in its third week, y'all. It's doing so badly, it's crashing and burning. It's actually kind of hilarious. Remember, it earns only $30 million or something like that in its first weekend, and then its second weekend it crashed to $6 million, and now it's at $3 million. I mean, everyone involved does not want to be associated with Madam Web. It's kind of funny. I mean, poor Dakota Johnson's I'm never doing a movie like this ever again. I understand why you guys are ripping this to shreds. I can't say that I don't understand. I mean, I've just never seen a movie where the actors are just throwing this movie under the bus as hard as they can to save themselves. I've just never seen this happen with another film. It never happened with any of the Marvel films, even though some of them deserve it. I've never seen this happen with any of the DC films, even though some of them deserved it. But this one, I don't know what's happening with this film, where everyone, from Dakota Johnson to Sydney Sweeney, even the director was being a little shady too. All of them are just yeah, I'm not into this movie, don't associate me with this movie. Dakota Johnson just said it was definitely an experience. I probably will never do anything like it again because I don't make sense in that world. I mean, really, they have just been so hard being you know what? It was just not for me. We were not a good match. I mean, even poor Sydney Sweeney on SNL was if you saw me on Madam Web, that's your comment, Josh. If you saw me on Madam Web, no you didn't. Even Sydney Sweeney's like, you might have seen me from Anyone But You, might have seen me in Euphoria, but you definitely didn't see me in Madam Web. So I don't know. I've already given you my thoughts on Madam Web. I think it's a pretty horrible movie. I understand why everyone is so against it, but I just think it's so funny that even the cast is like, you know what? Dude, I was never in this movie. Forget that I was here. I mean, if I was in this movie, maybe I'd do the same. I mean, if I gotta save my career or save this movie, I'm choosing my career, you know? Seems like these girls are doing the same. Everyone jumped ship. Literally everyone jumped ship. Primal Plasma says this is going to make Dakota Johnson's career, ironically. Everyone knows who she is now. She's kind of sexy, to be honest. As I was saying, I feel like her press tour for Madam Web blew up and became viral. Like, every interview she was in, she had a viral clip from it. I feel like, if anything, Madam Web might have helped Dakota Johnson's career. It definitely solidified her brand as, like, kind of almost an Aubrey Plaza type, where she's kind of deadpan and almost like awkward, but in like a charming way. I don't know. I feel like this actually did a lot to help her career more than like hurt her, surprisingly. Oh, Caldania says Dakota said that was her sister in the movie, not her. Did she really say that? Did she really say that was her sister? That's hilarious. Even she's like throwing her own sister. Does she even have a sister? Is she throwing a fictional sister under the bus? That'd be hilarious. But anyway, no one wants to be associated with this movie. It's pretty funny. Moving on to entertainment news. Speaking of Dune, we're getting a Dune video game that I think looks absolutely incredible. It's an open world survival MMO game, and look at all the things that you can do. It's like you can go around, you can even fight sandworms or run away from them. You can build things using stuff you find in the desert. I think it looks really cool. As I told you guys, I've been getting into gaming quite a bit, so now that I see these movie tie-ins all the time, I pay attention to them, and I think this one looks really interesting. Won't play the sound, but look at it. I mean, the visuals look pretty incredible, looks pretty realistic. I like that you can fight this big giant worm here, or maybe run away from it, I don't know. You got some glider or whatever, some sort of sand motorcycle. You got stuff that you can build, things that you can fight. I mean, this looks pretty cool to me. Any gamer in the chat think that you might play this game yourself? I mean, I'm thinking about playing it. Not sure what platform it's coming to. Oh, it says it's coming to all platforms. Okay. So I'll probably play it on my PS5. But yeah, I think this looks really cool to me. I love getting a nice open world game tie-in to movies, so this is definitely up my alley. Anyone planning on playing this? I have not played Pal World, no. Okay, WakeyBee says this reminds them of Uncharted, maybe. Yeah, this was announced a while ago, but we just got a new trailer for it, so that's why I'm showing it to you. It's a Star Wars bike. It does kind of look like a Star Wars bike, yeah. Seems like not a lot of you are interested, but I'm interested. I think this looks cool. This is the kind of games that I like to play, so I will definitely be playing this one. Moving on. Sorry. So this trailer, oh my gosh. So this movie is actually based off of Harry Styles fan fiction. It's called The Idea of You, starring Anne Hathaway. And she's playing a mom who falls in love with this like famous pop star boy who's part of a boy band who just happens to have tattoos all over his body and happen to be, you know, just like Harry Styles in all ways. As you can kind of see from this trailer, dude is literally supposed to be like a major pop star. Look at even the freaking tattoos. They look like Harry Styles tattoos. This is based off of Harry Styles fan fiction, by the way. That's why I keep saying Harry Styles. It's about a mom who falls. I mean, he's even dressed like Harry Styles. This is so funny to me. As someone who's been a Harry Styles fan for a long time, I can totally spot this is how he used to dress all the time. And even the tattoos are like his. So this is just very funny to me that this is the second movie made about Harry Styles fan fiction. But I think the trailer actually looks quite charming. I'll probably watch it because this is the kind of trash that I like to watch. They even kind of got someone that sort of looks like Harry Styles. I don't know. I'm into it. I'm into it. I'm definitely gonna see it as a fan. I love when when fan fiction becomes movies, just like when we got 50 Shades of Grey, because usually we get some sort of cult classic or some sort of weird adaptation. I don't know, but I think we're gonna get something super fun. So I'm into it. I can already see from the chat, Cheetah Viper saying, ew. Wakey Bee is asking, does she sparkle? Oh my god, I know, Pretty Princess. Again, we're getting another Harry Styles fanfic movie again. I just think it's funny that this has happened more than once. Cinephile says, please, no more Harry Styles fanfics. Like, why? Who asked? Me. By the way, as someone who has been a longtime fan of Harry Styles, I can tell you, he has, like, some of the most popular fanfics on the internet. That's why I think they keep going for his. Because he gets fanfics that have like millions and millions of views. That's why they keep going to him, because he has some very successful ones. That's why I think he keeps getting chosen for this kind of stuff. I'm surprised there hasn't been like a Taylor Swift inspired fanfic movie. I feel like we're all going to get fanfic movies eventually. But anyway, I just thought this was very funny. When are we seeing Harry Styles again in the MCU? He's Thanos' brother, and like they've never addressed it since. Like, when are we gonna hear more about that? I feel like we need to be hearing more about that. But anyway, Marvel's a mess at the moment. We are gonna talk about Marvel in a second. But moving on. So speaking of remakes and adaptations that are a little weird, the Twilight remake will be an animated series. That's fascinating. I've been telling you guys forever that with all these adaptations, I feel like studios should be adapting and trying more with cartoons and animation, because I feel like especially adult-focused animation is really blowing up right now, particularly with Eastern animation. So I'm really excited that they're making this remake animated. I don't know if we really need a Twilight remake, period. I did do an entire video talking about my thoughts on the Twilight remake and why I don't think it'll work out. But if they are going to do this, I'm glad that they're at least trying something different and they're not just doing another live-action adaptation. I feel like an animated series will allow fans who are diehard fans of the original series, like any changes that they make, I feel like people will be a lot more open to changes because it's a cartoon, so I feel like this could actually help them. So I don't know, I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is crazy and weird and totally out there, but if it's gonna be a remake, I'm glad that they're at least going the animated route. What do you guys think? Do you think this will work out? Do you think this is too weird? Yeah, CD Wood says if it's animated, then I'm interested. That's what makes me more interested, to be honest. Jal Pedro says, I never imagined it would be Twilight, of all things, to take the initiative. Right? We keep hearing all these adaptations and remakes and reboots, and I've always been like, why don't we try something animated? And we're finally doing something animated, and it's Twilight? Interesting choice. I would not have thought Twilight would be the first to do it, but hey, we're doing it. That Super says you're interested now. Okay. Alexander Padilla says, I love the Twilight movies. It's a comfort movie of mine. Same. I actually really like those movies. I know they get a lot of hate, but they're nice comfort food for me. Can't be worse than the original, says Ryu. Oh, it's not that bad. I mean, it's not good, but it's also not terrible. You know, it's watchable. Twilight animation, why, says Star Film Studio, so you're not into it. Omar says, I love the lore and backstories of Twilight. Wish we had whole movies on basically any other character, Bella, like Rosaline or Jasper. Oh, so you would have rather we focused on another character? That's interesting. I don't think they would have done that because, you know, obviously Edward and Bella are the ones that everyone knows, so they want to focus on the popular characters, but that would have been interesting. I would have loved to see more about Alice's background. Alice was always one of my favorite characters, too. Oh, Spies SPZ Gamer says, this feels illegal. Why does this feel illegal to you? What about this is illegal? That's just funny to me. But anyway, moving on. So, Lindsay Lohan confirms we will be getting a Freaky Friday 2? Interesting. Now, they've been hinting this for a while. Both her and Jamie Lee Curtis have been saying that they want to do a Freaky Friday 2 for a while. Seems like Disney might have finally greenlit it, if Lindsay Lohan is correct here. So that's interesting. It's probably going to be a Disney Plus thing. I don't expect this to go to theaters. But I'm looking forward to it. As someone who watched this movie as a kid, I think a sequel could do reasonably well, just like the Hocus Pocus sequel did reasonably well. Actually, not even reasonably, it did very well. I think a Freaky Friday sequel could do very well because you have a lot of millennials like me who will be nostalgic for the first one. So I actually think this could do well. I'm looking forward to it if this is actually true. Anyone else looking forward to a Freaky Friday sequel like me? How many decades has it been? It's been like probably almost 20 years. Yeah, I mean, it has been a while. This was a 2000s movie. Stop with the reboots, says Jessica. I mean, they're not going to stop with the reboots because Hollywood's entirely risk averse at the moment because they're terrified of what the future holds for them. So they're going to rely on the reboots and the remakes and the sequels because that's what they feel like is a safe bet for them. Out of all the safe bets, I feel like at least Freaky Friday 2 could be fun. That's all I'm saying. Oh, Cheetah Viper says, I don't think Jamie is a good actress. Well, you're not alone. A lot of people didn't think she deserved that Oscar win, so we'll see. I definitely think Angela Bassett was robbed for that. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, I'm glad to see her doing well, unlike her enemy Amanda Bynes. Yeah, it's really sad what happened with Amanda. I don't even want to talk about that one. Josh says, hopefully Freaky Friday 2 is as good as I think it could help a Lindsay Lohan make a comeback after her Mean Girls cameo. You know, I would love for Lindsay Lohan to make a comeback. I feel like a Lindsay Lohan comeback would be in the same vein as a Robert Downey Jr. comeback in a way that no one thought it would ever happen, but maybe she could still make a comeback. I don't know. I really liked Lindsay Lohan back in the day, back in the 2000s. She was huge. She was everywhere. So, I mean, if she could actually make a comeback, that would be really good for her. I'd be happy for her. But yeah, I hope she does do that. But anyway, moving on to the next topic. So, I haven't seen Shogun, but apparently it's doing really well on Hulu, and everyone's saying it's amazing, and it's like the next Game of Thrones, but Asian. So now, that makes me want to watch it, so I feel like I'm probably going to try out Shogun now, but I'm bringing it up just because it has become FX's most viewed premiere on Hulu, with 9 million views passing The Bear. And The Bear, of course, was previously Hulu's most successful show, so this is pretty good news for Shogun. Again, I haven't seen it, but I'm hearing nothing but good news from it. Has anyone in my chat seen Shogun? Does it deserve this viewership? Should I really watch it? Apparently it's like Game of Thrones, but taken place in the past with like Asian influence or whatever. I don't know. That's what everyone keeps describing it as. So I'm very curious about Shogun. Anyone see Shogun? Oh, that's Suber says, I don't think Lindsay Lohan can act anymore. Has she ever really been able to act? I feel like she's gotten off on charm. And I feel like she might still have enough charm that she can, you know, she can still do alright. Okay, Arvin says Shogun is amazing. Alright, Jal Pedro's never seen it. Omar says it's in Japan. Okay. Most of you have not seen it, but Alexander says it's amazing. Okay. I think I'm definitely going to check this one out. I haven't seen it, but I keep seeing amazing reviews, and it's doing super well for Hulu, so I think I'm going to check this one out. I think I'm going to let you guys know on the next show how I feel about it, okay? So, I'm going to let you guys know. I'm going to watch the first episode of Shogun, and I'm going to let you guys know how I feel later on. So, we have a new poster for The Boys Season 4. I love this poster. I love how he looks so menacing and how he's just kind of scowling, but I also love the confetti, so you know it's an election season. Whenever there's an election season on a show, I feel like that season usually is super, super good. I love election seasons. And it is an election season because they also released this clip. So they have a clip they released on a Super Tuesday campaign for The Boys Season 4. I won't play the whole thing, but the fact that they're releasing campaign messages, I mean, they are heavily leaning into the whole election season thing, and I think this could be a really good season. I'm super excited for The Boys. I really like this show. You guys know it's one of my favorite shows out there right now. The fact that this is going to be about election season in an election season just probably means this is going to be an extra explosive season. So I'm super excited for it. How are you guys feeling about The Boys? Who's watching it? Who's excited for the next season like I am? What do you think about it being an election year kind of season? Oh no, Alexander, you haven't seen it since season 1? Oh, you gotta watch it. It's so good. If you like superheroes, you guys should watch this show. Arvin says, I'm waiting so long for season 4. I know, it does feel like we've waited a long time between seasons, right? Cheetah Viper's never seen it. Natania's never seen it. What? No, come on. You guys have to watch this. The Boys, if you like superheroes at all, you will love this show. This is a great show. I would actually say The Boys is better than any Marvel anything recently of like the past couple of years. I really think it's that good. But anyway, moving on since you guys don't watch this. I think you guys also don't watch House of the Dragon, which is crazy to me because I think that show's also amazing. But anyway, House of the Dragon Season 2 will apparently premiere in June, which means that June of next year is going to be pretty busy. I mean, look at everything that's coming out June of next year. We got The Bear Season 3, The Boys Season 4, Star Wars The Acolyte, and House of the Dragon Season 2. Why didn't they space this stuff out more? Why are we getting so much in just June of this year? I don't know why. I think I said next year, but it's this year. June of this year is going to be super, super busy, y'all. I don't know why they decided to release everything in 1 month, but I'm going to be eating it up, so I'm excited. All right, is anyone else excited for anything else that's coming out June this year? What do you guys think about it? Potato Girl says, I watched both of those shows. I like them overall. Oh, that's good. Never seen House of the Dragon. What in the world? Cheetah Viper says, got rid of HBO after Vanilla Game of Thrones ended. The last season sucked. Yeah, the last season was not great. The Acolyte is happening. I thought it got canned. No, it's definitely happening. I don't think anyone's going to watch it or if it's going to be good, but it's at least releasing. Josh Loves Movies says, April is going to be great for gamers with Fallout and Knuckles. That's true. We have a lot of good content coming out soon. That's pretty good. Arvin says, still don't care about Star Wars. Yeah. I feel you there. I still don't really care myself. Moving on. So apparently the live-action Minecraft movie that really should be animated will have singing. Because Jack Black reveals he will be singing in the live-action Minecraft movie. Very, very interesting. As I've said repeatedly, I don't understand why this is live-action. This is a type of movie that's screaming to be animated because Minecraft it's known for its very iconic look. So I can't imagine how they're going to do it live action. But now they're adding music, and I'm extra confused. Is it going to be a musical? Or is it just going to be one song like in the Peaches situation with the Mario movie? I have no idea, but this movie just gets more and more interesting to me, more and more curious. I think it's going to be a very strange, weird movie. I'm very much looking forward to it, though. I have no idea what it's going to look like. Jason Momoa's in it. I have no idea what this is going to look like. And now there's singing involved. I just have no idea. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be strange. I think it's going to be weird, probably surreal. But I'm fingers crossed it's going to be good. It should have been animated, but whatever. At least we're getting an animated Twilight series. Peaches was robbed, Cheetah Viper. I'm still mad about Peaches not getting nominated. But anyway. So Taylor Swift's Eras Tour movie will be going to Disney Plus on March 14th. And Disney paid through the nose just to get access to it. They paid her $75 million just to be able to distribute her film on Disney Plus. That is crazy amount of money. Like $75 million just to literally upload your film onto Disney Plus. That's crazy. I mean, it's probably going to do really well. I imagine a lot of people are going to download Disney Plus just to watch it because Taylor Swift is huge right now. But man, is it going to be $75 million worth of people? Because that's a huge amount of money. I mean, I don't know. Is anyone else planning on watching this Eras Tour movie while it's on Disney Plus? I know I have some Swifties in my chat, so are you guys planning on watching it on Disney Plus? If you don't have Disney Plus, are you planning to download it to watch this? I mean, that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that people who don't have Disney Plus download it so that they can get some money for it. That's why they paid $75 million for it, which I just don't know if they're going to get $75 million worth of people with her being as successful as she is. That's just crazy to me. Disney still has money, right? Right? Where are they getting all this money from? Prototype says, probably a good investment though, she's huge. I mean, she is huge. If they get $75 million worth of people to sign up for Disney Plus, that would be incredible. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking this will probably be as big as when they dropped the live action filming of Hamilton on Disney Plus. If you guys remember, that did super, super well. I feel like this will probably do about as well as that. So maybe that'll be worth $75 million to them. I don't know, but that's a crazy amount of money. Oh, Netanya will pirate it? Okay. That Super says no. M. Hamilton says no. Prototype is more of a Lana Del Rey type person. Oh, Pretty Princess said should have made it 80 million, so I see you're a Swiftie. Joao Pedro says people really treat this as an actual movie. They really are. I mean, it made a lot of money. This movie is actually the 11th highest grossing movie of the year, so I mean, it made a lot of money, so that's why they're treating it like a real film. CD Wood says, I will never pay for a streaming service for one film. It's better to pirate. Yeah, a lot of people could pirate this. I could see this being like one of the top pirated movies of the year or something like that. Oh my god, I was seeing a lot of R's and pirates and all that sort of thing in my chat. You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. But anyway, it's coming out March 14th. I'm very curious to see what the viewership numbers are on it. Moving on. So speaking of the strike, I know when I talked about the strike a few weeks ago, a lot of people were like, Brittney, it's not going to happen. That'd be terrible for the industry. But I really think this Yahtzee strike is going to happen. I'm going to be honest with you. I really think it's going to happen. Hollywood's major below-the-line union, IATSE and Teamsters, have held a rally today ahead of their negotiations with the studios. AMPTP hear us loud and clear. These workers may work below the line, but that doesn't mean their wages and benefits should be near the poverty line. Now, we've been talking a lot on my channel about how the visual effects workers in particular have been treated like awful across a lot of movies, a lot of different industries and businesses, and how like they basically get overworked for very little pay. And now that a lot of visual effects unions have become a part of Yahtzee, that's made them even stronger to negotiate for better pay coming up for their negotiation this year. Now, I don't know if they're going to get the pay that they want right up front, which is why I think this is likely going to go to a strike, because I think the studios are not going to want to pay them what they're worth, because that will take all of the costs for Marvel movies, and anything that's like CGI heavy, it's going to make anything way more expensive. So imagine a company like Disney is not going to want to pay visual effects artists more, because that means every Star Wars film, every Marvel film, every live-action Disney film is going to be way more expensive because they're going to have to pay those people more. But I also don't see the people of IATSE backing down because of the treatment that they've been receiving so far. So I really think that we're going to see another strike this year. I really think this is coming to another strike. I think that this is going to halt the industry again, and I think it's going to hurt everyone involved. But I think this is what it's coming to. What do you guys think? Do you think a strike is coming this year? Yes or no? Oh, Prototype says it took them long enough. I mean, they have been threatening to strike for quite some time, but I think this time might be the time they actually do it. Star Film Studio says AI, they scared. Oh yeah, AI, with all the advancements in AI video, particularly recently, I think that's probably only going to encourage them more to strike because they have so much on the line. If they allow AI to just completely take over and make AI movies, that means you don't really need anyone in IATSE. You don't need visual effects workers, you don't need crew people, you don't need any sort of camera people, sound people, you don't need any of that. Makeup people, costume people, none of that, because you're just typing a prompt and that's all you need. So yeah, they're definitely fighting for their lives here, which is why, again, I think it's probably going to come to a strike, especially over pay and AI. I think those two things, again, are going to become sticking points in the negotiation this year. It's really rough for Hollywood. It's true, Potato Girl. Very, very rough for Hollywood. AI scares you, Star Film Studio? Well, I think AI scares the entire industry, not gonna lie. I think the entire industry is terrified. But we'll see. As I've been updating you guys about AI, I will continue to update you on how it's progressing, because it's progressing pretty quickly. But moving on to the next topic. So, Avatar: The Last Airbender has been renewed for 2 more seasons at Netflix. Now, we've been talking a lot about this show and how it's kind of been received mixed. Some people really love it, some people really hate it. I was kind of in the middle. I don't think it's terrible, not nearly as bad as a lot of people are trying to make it out to be, but I also don't think it's as good as it could have been. And ultimately, I think it just comes down to the fact that I don't think the show really translates well to live action. I think the show just is better animated. But overall, I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's kind of okay. But I think the show must have done well enough for Netflix to want to renew it, because now we're getting book 2 and book 3. I do hope that they at least make the show better for books 2 and 3, just so the conversation around the show isn't as toxic. Plus, I bet they're probably going to film season 2 and 3 at the same time, just because the cast is growing and aging, and they probably want to make sure that they stay kids. So I think it makes a lot of sense to greenlight both seasons, especially if the show performed well enough. I don't know if it's going to be making a lot of fans happy, since some fans didn't like it. As I tweeted, I'm not sure if I should be saying congratulations or I'm sorry. But at least we're getting more seasons. I am curious to see how they do Ba Sing Se. Who are they going to cast as Toph? How are they going to do the whole 3rd season where things really go up a notch? Like, I'm very curious to see how they do all of that. But what do you guys think about all this? Alexandra Diaz says, if they F up Toph, they can kiss the show goodbye. I know, Toph is so hard to get right, though. Because are they going to cast an actual blind actress who can do Kung Fu? Because that's going to be really hard to find. They probably aren't going to cast someone who's blind, but they really need to cast someone who's perfect for the role. I feel like they messed up Azula, and they messed up a few of the other characters pretty badly, so they can't mess up Toph. If they mess up Toph, the entire season 2 is a wash. So I totally agree with you there, Alexander. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, are they going to include the Owl episode? I'm going to bet they make that Uncanny Valley. I don't know if they're going to include the Owl episode. They said they aren't going to do a lot of, like, episodes where they do, like, they go off and go on tangents and stuff, and I feel like that episode was a bit of a tangent, those episodes, so I feel like they probably will cut that, but I feel like they shouldn't because I love those episodes, but I understand that they only have so much time to actually cover everything, so they're probably going to cut those episodes. HP, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. I will keep watching purely for Iroh and Zuko's relationship, which I do think this show has done well, and so far spent more time developing than the original. Interesting. I do think that Iroh and Zuko's relationship has been the best thing about this show so far. I agree. I think both those actors are well cast. Compared to some of the other actors, I think they're better actors too. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I think Uncle Iroh and Zuko's relationship is probably the best thing in the show. So, as you all know, or most of you probably know, Zuko goes through a huge transformation in the original series. So I'm curious to see how they do this transition for the live action show, because that transition is very important. But anyway, I think they can do it well. Hopefully, if they just follow the source material, it could be a really interesting transformation. So I'm curious to see how they do Book 2 and Book 3 and how they handle Zuko's transformation and all of that. I'm not surprised that they're doing seasons 2 and 3. I mean, it did trend a lot on social media, so that's always a good thing for a studio. They want to see that people are talking about the show, and people are definitely talking about it, even if it's not all good. So that's probably why they greenlit seasons 2 and 3. But anyway, I will talk about 2 and 3 when they come up. I'm very curious to see how they turn out. But anyway, I think the show's alright. I don't think it's that bad. But what do you guys think? I hope they keep the blood bending. I really want to see the blood bending. They should keep the blood bending stuff. I think that was really cool. They needed to change Katara a little bit. Oh yeah, I definitely think they need to change Katara. I think they made her a little bit too weak. Ironically, I think they made her a little bit too watery. I think Katara has a lot more fire in her than I think that they portrayed her. That's one of the actors I feel like maybe was a bit miscast, is Katara, so I definitely agree with you there. Moving on to the next topic. So we finally got a new trailer for Inside Out 2! I'm still looking forward to this movie. I think this movie looks so cute, so fun. I love Riley. Ever since I got to work with Joy and Sadness and Inside Out at the Inside Out experience at Epcot, ever since I got to do that, I fell in love with the original movie, and now I I can't wait for this sequel. And I think the trailer looks pretty good. We got to see more of Riley as a hockey athlete. She's really into hockey. It shows her kind of having a hard time fitting in. She's having a lot of new emotions that come with going through puberty and being a teenager, like anxiety. She's having all these new emotions, like she has boredom that comes in, which they say is on way. They have envy, which is voiced by Ayo Edebiri. So she's getting a lot of work. Good for her. We also have embarrassment, which I love the design here. Embarrassment looks absolutely adorable. Yeah, this is Envy here. I think Envy looks super cute. I actually really like the designs. That's Anxiety, voiced by Maya Hawke. I really love this. Also, it seems like she's trying to impress this girl that she sees, but she doesn't really do a good job. I don't know. Some people were trying to speculate maybe she has a crush on this girl. I'm not really sure if that's it or if maybe she just wants to fit in. But either way, there's a lot of emphasis on this woman, this other girl that she's trying to talk to, so that's kind of interesting. I love the animation though. I think the animation looks sharp. It looks good. It looks like they had a lot of detail this time to their fur, their skin, or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to it. Also, we have this gag here where it shows that Riley's bottling up her emotions, which I really love seeing that. Some of my favorite things about the original Inside Out was seeing how your mind and your emotions could be represented visually. So seeing your emotions literally be locked up in a jar, I think is super, super cute. But yeah, I think this looks great. What do you guys think about the trailer though? Are you looking forward to Inside Out? Do you think this could be a hit? I actually think this could be a hit. I don't know if about $1 billion, but I actually think this could be a hit. Maybe at least more than the first one. Anxiety looks like a Muppets character. Yeah, kind of. Rachel says, I definitely think it's fitting. It's fitting in with the cool kids. Oh, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Some people were speculating on Twitter that maybe she had a crush on the girl, but maybe it's just about fitting in with the cool kids, which it definitely could be, because, you know, she's around that age. Ryu says, I wasn't a huge fan of the first one, but I thought it was cute. I would watch the second on streaming. Oh no, not on streaming. What's it gonna take to get you guys to see something in theaters? I mean, look at this. Look at poor Riley. She's got her hair disheveled. She's got acne. She's got braces. We've all been there, you know? Come on. She's dealing with anxiety. I'm really here for it. I'm here for it. They also go through this, like, the sarcasm. There's a whole chasm here, and it's called the sarcasm. So I guess she's developing her sarcastic sensibilities. I don't know. But it's just, I mean, if you can actually look deeply, you can sort of see this is supposed to be Riley's mind palace. And it's looking like it's going through development. So it definitely looks like her emotions are going to be wrecked. She's going to be going through a lot of changes. I think this is going to be very interesting. I think it's going to say a lot about puberty and growing up and aging and all of that. So I'm very curious to see how Pixar handles that. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it looks super cute. Oh, Cheetah Viper says I'm going to stream it, and if I like it, I'll buy it. Well, what about theaters? You guys just stream everything. Riley does look cute. She looks very adorable. Potato Girl says, I go to the theaters like twice a month, and I'll see this if it's convenient and not going against something I'm more excited about. Interesting. So you guys, it seems like you guys are interested in this, but you're not feeling like you have to rush out to go see it in theaters. It sounds like majority of you just feel like you can wait until streaming, which is interesting. I wonder if that means that the box office won't be as high as I'm thinking. I'm very curious to see how this will perform. I have no idea. Pixar movies haven't been doing super well lately, so it might not do that well. I have no idea. I just have my fingers crossed and hope that it does really well because I really like these movies. Oh, Madonna's plastic surgery. Thank you so much for the super chat again. What it'll take to get us to the theaters. Not $17, LOL. True, true. Again, think about, especially this is the kind of movie where you want to take the whole family, you want to take kids. So imagine taking the entire family out to see this movie. It probably is going to be very expensive, especially if it costs $17 a ticket for you. I mean, if you're bringing a family of 5 at $17 a ticket, and then you have to buy the gas to get there, and then you want to buy snacks and popcorn while you're there, you're spending well over $100 at that point. So yeah, it is very expensive at this point. I totally get you. Edgeman, this is one of your most anticipated movies of the year. Yeah, me too. Honestly, it's between this, Wicked, and the Dune movie. Those were my most anticipated movies of the year. Pretty Princess says, I'll see it with my niece. I like the first one. Oh, that's good. The Potato Girl, your theater that you go to only has $7 tickets? That's incredible. Here in New York, they're super expensive, so $7 tickets isn't very impressive to me. But anyway, I'm still looking forward to Inside Out 2. I think it'll do very well. Anyway, moving on. So, speaking of Disney, Bob Iger had some really interesting comments to say about Marvel. Sorry. He said Bob Iger dismisses Marvel fatigue, saying audiences just want good films. If you build it, they will come. Oppenheimer is a perfect example of that, just a fantastic film. Now, I find this kind of confusing because at first he's like, if we make good movies, people will come. Oppenheimer is a good example of that, but he's talking about Marvel fatigue. I find it so odd that he couldn't even think of a Marvel movie as an example of something good that they've made. He had to talk about a movie from a completely different studio. That's kind of embarrassing. Also, he's kind of admitting that Marvel's been making bad movies lately. I mean, there's a lot of subtext to this whole comment that really doesn't make Marvel look good at all. If I was Kevin Feige, I'd probably be a little bit embarrassed and pissed by these comments, because he's definitely putting down Marvel in a sort of subtle, professional way. This isn't the only thing he said either. He also said that they're secretly, subtly canceling movies. So I have no idea which movies those could be, but I think this is probably for the best. We all know Marvel has way too much output coming out. They have way too much product, way too many shows, way too many movies, way too much stuff coming out, and I think it's really oversaturated the brand and it's got people tired. I genuinely think that's part of why Marvel isn't as big as it used to be, is just because people got fatigued. So he's saying there is no Marvel fatigue, but I definitely think that there is, like for sure that there is. And the fact that they're canceling movies, I think, kind of confirms that there's Marvel fatigue. So this whole, him saying that there's no Marvel fatigue, there's just bad movie fatigue, I think is A, false, B, him kind of admitting that Marvel is making bad movies, and C, I mean, obviously it has to be some sort of fatigue, or else why would they be canceling movies? So I think Bob Iger keeps talking out of his butt. He wants to sound good, but when you really break down his words, they don't really sound that smart. It sounds like a lot of BS, a lot of lying, a lot of fronting, a lot of peacocking. That's what Bob Iger's comments sound like to me, peacocking. He wants to sound like Marvel's not doing as badly as they are, but they definitely are. And I definitely do think it's not just bad movie fatigue. I think it's definitely some Marvel fatigue as well. But what do you guys think? What do you think of his comments? Josh Loves Movie says, hopefully Disney learned from their mistake, as they made a huge mistake scrapping Nimona. You know what? I don't think they've learned anything. I think they would still scrap Nimona even if they had the opportunity today. Even though it was really well received and got nominated for many awards, I still think that Disney probably would not have made Nimona, even though it was much better than Wish, unfortunately. Edgeman says, opening out space for a Wanda movie, please. I know, what we're all asking for the Wanda movie, please. Where is the Wanda movie? I feel like Wanda is still one of their most popular characters, yet they're doing nothing with her. I don't understand it at all. Why aren't they doing anything with Wanda? We're begging for something Wanda. Like, it's just crazy to me. Maybe it's because Elizabeth Olsen really doesn't want anything to do with Marvel currently. Is that what it is? I have no idea, but it's crazy to me that they're benching one of their most popular characters currently. Especially since they want women characters to work out so much, and they have a female character that is super popular and they're doing nothing with her. Make it make sense! Nothing Marvel is doing right now makes sense to me. I just think that they've really lost it, in my opinion. Marvel's really lost their touch. I think they can get it back. We'll see how Deadpool and Wolverine does. I'm still a little bit, I'm not sure how that movie's going to do. It's probably going to do well, but how well is the question. I'm not sure it's going to make $1 billion. It could make close. It could make close. Maybe it'll make Oppenheimer money, but I just don't see it making over $1 billion. So I think it'll be a successful disappointment for that reason. But anyway, we'll see how Deadpool and Wolverine does. But I definitely think Marvel is having a lot of problems, and fatigue is definitely one of them. But anyway, moving on. Sorry. So speaking of Marvel, Chris Evans seems to be feeling a bit I guess, I feel like he might have a chip on his shoulder because he feels like a lot of people have been critiquing his movies. And so I guess now he feels like he has to speak up and defend them because he kind of defended a lot of Marvel movies recently. Chris Evans said that some Marvel movies are objectively phenomenal films. You know, talking about the fact that a lot of people just think that Marvel movies aren't very good, like Martin Scorsese saying that they're theme park films, stuff like that. He also said that if making comic book movies was easy, there'd be a lot of more good ones. Basically saying that it's not easy to make a good comic book movie, and that, you know, the fact that they made some good ones means that they must have known what they were doing. Basically, he's just trying to defend Marvel, saying that not all of our films were bad, which I understand. It's gotta suck as an actor who is a major part of these movies to constantly hear so much criticism and critique from your peers. It's gotta suck. So I understand why he feels the need to defend them. I actually agree with him, to be honest with you. I think not all Marvel movies are good, but there are some really good ones. Like, I think Winter Soldier is really good. I think the Guardians films are really good. I think the first Black Panther movie is really good. I even think the first Doctor Strange movie is really good. I think WandaVision is really good. I think they do have some really good projects that are people kind of overlook because they do have some really bad projects too. So I agree with them, actually. I think that there are some really objectively good Marvel movies and not all of them are trash. But what do you guys think? Oh, I have a super chat. Thank you so much, Lightthorn. Disney is basically in their shopaholic era, buying everything and they don't need. Are they still in their shopaholic era, Lightthorn? I feel like they definitely were in the shopaholic era, like 10 years ago, when Bob Iger bought Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. But he hasn't really bought anything recently. He has a $1 billion stake in Epic Games, but that's not really buying the whole company. I think that they're out of their shopaholic era, to be honest. They're not really interested in buying new companies or new studios, and they really shouldn't be. They should be saving money and using that towards their parks, in my opinion. The parks need the money more than anything. But yeah, I don't think they're in their shopaholic era anymore. If anything, I feel like they're maybe in their cheapskate era because they're cheaping out on their movies. Well, not their movies. They're spending way too much on the movies. They're cheaping out on their parks, which I think really need the money, like, badly, because I love the parks, and the parks bring them a lot of money, so I don't know why they don't invest in them more. But anyway, I actually disagree with you, Lightthorn. I think they're coming out of their shopaholic era. Yeah. Josh Loves Movie says, give comic book movies to directors that respect the source material and the heroes that what both Marvel and DC need to do. Yeah, I agree. Just Marvel has this really weird thing recently where they want to give work to actors and directors who don't care at all about the source material. And I feel like what we're getting is a result that looks that way. I feel like you have people like James Gunn and Ryan Coogler and even the Russo brothers. When they were working at Marvel, they were passionate about what they were doing, which is why I think the movies that they made ended up being good. Because they actually cared about the property, they actually cared about these characters. The fact that they keep hiring people that don't read the source material, that don't care about the property, I think it's just showing in the end result. And we're getting a lot of really just disconnected, dispassionate, just goof? Is that a word? Yeah, goof. Just stuff that's not that good because it's made by people who are not passionate by it. I mean, Madam Web is a prime example. So Marvel does have some objectively good movies. I do agree with Chris here. It's just that a lot of the really bad ones overshadow the good ones, and they kind of make them all seem kind of bad. But they do have some good movies here. Riri says the parks are definitely where the money is at. These ticket prices are so high. Oh, I know. Disney actually makes the majority of their money from the parks, not the movies, not anything else, but from the parks. The fact that they don't spend more money on the parks is crazy to me. Like, absolutely crazy to me. But anyway, what else did he say? Did he say something else? I think so. Yeah, he also said that Winter Soldier is a personal favorite Marvel movie that I was a part of. It was one of my more satisfying experiences that I've had on my Marvel run. And I would argue that Winter Soldier is one of the best movies in the Marvel Universe. I would say Winter Soldier is actually one of their objectively good movies. So yeah, they have some good films. I just think they haven't really had a lot of good films recently. And I think that's putting a lot of bad taste in people's mouths and making people forget that they enjoyed some of these movies. So yeah, I just think that Marvel needs to go back to making movies like Winter Soldier consistently, and then maybe people will get back on the Marvel hype train. But they really need to prove to people that they can still produce movies like The Winter Soldier and do that consistently. And they just haven't been able to do that for the past couple of years, because every time we get something decent like a Guardians 3, we get something like the Marvels or Quantumania. So they just got to stop producing movies like that, and we produce more movies like The Winter Soldier, and I think they'll probably get people back on board again. But what do you guys think? What are some of your favorite Marvel movies? Is it Winter Soldier or is it something else? Primal Plasma says, dang, how many tweets did he post about the MCU? Yeah, I don't know why he made all these comments or where all these comments came from. I just look at discussing film. Bucky is sexy. Oh my god. Cheetah Viper. Okay, you guys are very distracted. Let's get to the WTF news. So, WTF news, the first one of the day. Okay, do you guys remember that famous Oscar photo with Ellen DeGeneres and all those celebrities? Yeah, that was 10 years ago today. 10 years ago today that came out, y'all. 10 mother effing years ago. I put this in WTF news because I could not believe that it was that long ago. Like, what in the world? What? How was this 10 years ago? I feel like I'm getting ancient. Like, how was this 10 years ago? This is insane to me. I feel like this was like 5 years ago. Or I just blinked and like, this is now a decades old picture? How? Is anyone else that's blown away by this as me? Am I the only one that's like WTF? Am I the only one that's like WTF on this? Am I the only one that can't believe? Also, how badly did this photo age? Like, look at all the people that are in this photo. How badly did this photo age? I mean, you got Kevin Spacey there in the back. Brad Pitt. I mean, this photo aged so badly. A lot of these people aren't even relevant anymore. And why is Lupita Nyong'o's brother, like, so prominent in this photo? I don't know, man. Also, Jared Leto's in the pic. Oof. Oof. Oh, no. This is, I don't know. I just had to bring this up because I was like, how in the world is this photo 10 years old? Oh, my God. Anyway. Another WTF news. YouTube is hosting their first wrestling match. And it's with Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? What? Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. First of all, I think it's cool that YouTube is hosting this because I think they should host more series like this, and I think this will really disrupt the sports space. But the fact that we're getting Jake Paul as a real sports wrestler is crazy to me. Like, how is Jake Paul... Not wrestling, boxing, sorry. How is Jake Paul actually, like, successfully transitioning into a career of boxing from YouTubing? Like, how is he actually doing it? Like, do I have a future career as a boxer now? Like, if all you have to be is a YouTuber to be a boxer? Like, I just think this is crazy. And also the fact that he got Mike freaking Tyson to fight him is even crazier. This is definitely WTF news to me, for sure. Yeah. Anyone else think this is WTF? Yeah, I know, right? Right? I just can't believe they got freaking Jake Paul to fight Mike Tyson. Like, Mike Tyson doesn't got something better to do? Someone better to fight? They got a YouTuber? This is just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me. But anyway, those are my two WTF news. Those are all of my news for today. Thank you all for coming to the show. This was so much fun. I love discussing this stuff with you guys. Again, we will be discussing the Kung Fu Panda movie. That will be my Sunday review. So if you want to see my thoughts on Kung Fu Panda, make sure you're here on Sunday. I might have to do it on Monday just in case people are over fixing my roof. I will let you guys know on Twitter and the community page if it might have to be postponed to Monday. But so just keep your eyes out for that post just in case I might have to post it. Otherwise, for now, I will be saying let's do the Sunday review for Kung Fu Panda. So if you want to see my thoughts on Kung Fu Panda 4, be here at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. I'll see you guys then. This has been really fun. Bye.